Have you ever wondered how changes in immigration policies can affect your study plans in a foreign country? Today we're exploring the impact of the recent IRCC changes on international students in Canada. These changes have brought significant shifts in the Canadian study experience, and they're worth understanding. Firstly, we'll touch upon the increased processing times for study permits, a change that's brought delays and uncertainty for many. Next, we'll discuss the new biometrics requirements for certain countries, an additional step in the application process that's made things more complex and costly for students. Lastly, we'll dive into changes to the post-graduation work permit program. A shift that's tightened the eligibility criteria, making it harder for students to gain work experience in Canada post-study. These changes have been substantial, affecting students' ability to study, work, and potentially immigrate to Canada. Stay tuned as we delve into each change and its impact on international students. Diving right into our first point, the increased processing times. Now, the processing times for study permits have seen a noticeable rise. Imagine, you've got your acceptance letter, you're brimming with excitement, ready to embark on your educational journey in Canada. But then the wait begins. The increased processing times mean a longer period of uncertainty and anticipation for international students. This change has led to delays, and I mean substantial delays. Students have found themselves in a state of limbo, waiting for their permits, unable to make concrete plans. The ripple effects of these delays are significant. Some students have had to defer their admissions. Some have had to alter their travel plans, and in some cases, students have missed the beginning of their academic semester. But it's not just about the practical implications. It's about the emotional toll as well. The frustration, the uncertainty, the anxiety. It's a challenging experience to go through. It's like being in a race, but you're not sure when the starting gun will go off. So, what does this mean for international students in Canada? Well, it means more waiting, more uncertainty, and a lot more stress. All these factors combined can impact a student's overall experience and their decision to study in Canada. Clearly, the increased processing times have had a significant impact on international students in Canada. But remember, this is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other changes that we'll discuss in the following scene, so stay tuned. Next up, the new biometrics requirements. Now let's delve into one of the major changes that have been introduced recently, the new biometrics requirement. This requirement applies to certain countries and has undoubtedly made the study permit application process a little more complicated. So, what exactly is this new requirement all about? Well, it's all about providing your fingerprints and a photo when you apply for a study permit. This new requirement is part of an effort to make the immigration process more secure and efficient. However, it also means an additional step for students, adding to the complexity of the application process. And let's consider this scenario. You're an aspiring international student, eager to embark on your educational journey in Canada. You've prepared all your documents, filled out the forms, and then you come across this new requirement, the need to provide your biometrics. This isn't something you can do from the comfort of your home. You'll need to go to a designated service point. And depending on where you live, this could mean a long journey, possibly even a stay overnight. And we haven't even started talking about the additional costs yet. Apart from the time and effort, there is a fee associated with the biometrics collection. This additional cost, while it might not seem much on its own, adds to the overall financial burden. Remember, this is on top of the tuition fees, living expenses, and other costs associated with studying abroad. The introduction of the new biometrics requirement has undeniably added a layer of complexity to the application process. It has also imposed an additional financial burden on students who are already grappling with the high costs of international education. It's a change that has made the journey to studying in Canada a bit more challenging. The new biometrics requirement has certainly made the application process more challenging for international students. Finally, let's talk about the changes to the post-graduation work permit program. This program, as some of you might know, has been a unique opportunity for international students to gain work experience in Canada after their studies. However, recent modifications have introduced new eligibility criteria, and this has made the process more challenging. In the past, the program was highly flexible, allowing students to work in any field, irrespective of their course of study. Now, the new rules specify that the work must be related to the student's field of study. This might sound reasonable on the surface, but in reality, it places a significant constraint on the students. The job market may not always align with the student's field of study, and this could potentially limit their opportunities. Moreover, there has been a reduction in the duration of the work permits. Previously, students could obtain work permits valid for up to 3 years, depending on the length of their studies. But now, the maximum duration has been reduced to 2 years. This shorter time frame may not be enough for students to gain the necessary experience and skills required for their future career paths. Another significant change is the introduction of a requirement for a job offer at the time of application. This is a substantial shift from the previous policy, where students had the flexibility to look for a job after graduation. Given the competitive job market, it's not always feasible for students to secure a job offer right after graduation. This new requirement, therefore, adds another layer of stress and uncertainty to the process. These changes to the post-graduation work permit program have raised serious concerns among international students. The program was once a beacon of hope for those aspiring to stay in Canada permanently. However, the new rules have made it more complex and less accessible, provoking worries about the future. This is a pivotal moment for international students who must now navigate these changes with caution and strategic planning. To sum it all up, the recent IRCC changes have significantly impacted international students in Canada. The lengthened processing times, new biometrics requirements, and alterations to the post-graduation work permit program have all added hurdles to studying, working, and potentially immigrating. These changes have increased the complexity, cost, and uncertainty of the journey. Remember to stay informed about these changes and navigate the process effectively. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.